welcome to another episode of Massachusetts. I'm your host, Bob Tremblay. You know, I really believe that running your dogs and training them proper commands is really important, not only to ensuring that they run safely and that they run efficiently, but also that they avoid hazards, and again, for their own safety. So recently, we haven't been able to run the dogs very often because of all the smoke coming down from Canada. But the day before yesterday, we had really good, clear conditions, and so I ran the dogs. And I took them out, and they did really, really well. They pulled me on the bike, and I was able to shoot it. And you're going to see is that I want to show you on this particular video is that they do a really good job of avoiding and ignoring some potentially distracting hazards as they go along. And I was exceptionally proud of really how well they did with each of them on this particular run. The following day we had good weather and I ran the dogs again. And this time we're running and we're going just fine, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, just out of the blue, like a foot ahead of us, we're running along, all of a sudden there's a porcupine on the right hand side of the trail, literally just feet from Shiva. So she runs over because she's curious, and I right away just gave a call, no, on by, and she just focused right away and ran right past that porcupine, passing it by inches, which really avoided a major potential accident. So she was able to do that because she's been trained so consistently on all these other lesser hazards. So I'm going to share today's video and talk over it and talk about how I've trained them to go by some of these various hazards. So stay tuned.
Okay, is ready? Ready?
So here we are on our run just a couple of days ago, and this particular one we have to go left around the gate. The gate is closed. I always tell the dogs haw around, and that gets them to go left. They know that, but because I say it all the time, even though they're making the right decision, they think they're doing it because I'm telling them to. Here, this bridge right here, I know we kind of fly over it, but would make it look pretty easy, but it's pretty hazardous, and the dogs have the confidence to kind of run forward because I tell them to kind of run forward. Coming up here, we have a hiker. You can see how this could be a pretty bad interaction. The dogs like to meet and greet people, but not everybody wants to meet your dogs when you're out there running, and I really love the fact that they can just run right on by when I tell them to. This is the kind of behavior, teaching them to do that is what prepares them to avoid porcupines later on down the road. Here we are. Once they're running, I think one thing that's important for your commands to be effective, you don't want to talk to your dogs too much. If they hear you chattering all the time, they don't know when they're supposed to listen to you. And so I try very much as the dogs are going, is let them have their own headspace. They don't have to hear me chattering all the time. I will give words of encouragement sort of here and there when they're doing something well, but I try to reserve most of my speaking for, I want them to listen, and so I try to restrict my chatter to commands that mean something. And so because of that, the dogs know when I speak, it's time to listen. And so we'll kind of continue on our run here. Beautiful day. Right here we have an even more complicated gate to get around. This particular gate we have to haw around, go to the left, but it's been blocked by boulders, and so the dogs are really good at knowing that I can't go over those rocks.
Hit easy.
You see how they stop and wait
Nice.
patient for me. I have to carry the bicycle up and over the boulders. I have to get
Ready?
dismount and mount it back onto the bike, and the dogs are really good at they're aware that that's something I have.
No.
Here they think we're going to take a left. I correct them, tell them to go straight, and we're moving along. Bandit at this point is thirsty, and so my dogs know where the water stops are, and he goes down here. It's kind of a steep drop, and of course the dogs are attached to the neckline, and at this point in time Shiva isn't ready for a drink, so she kind of pulls Bandit back up.
This was a little bit
There's
of
a better spot for water later on. And once Bandit gets up, because he went down there, he got the line around his leg. And so they're really good at kind of standing out and waiting. I put the bike down. Bandit knows that I am going to straighten his leg out. I don't want him to get hurt. Get that straightened out, and we're able to continue our run. coming up, again, I'm not talking. I'm just letting the dogs run. I'm there with them. What I do on my bike as well is very similar to like when I'm on my sled, is I kick occasionally. So I'm giving them some assistance moving forward, so they're not just the right thing to do. When they see a car like this, this is out of the ordinary. And when we're hiking, they'll want to go up and see who's there. But when we're running, they know to go on by and go past. Again, that seems like a pretty innocent thing, but having that on by and that passing command and that mindset, again, is what prepares them to avoid really important hazards later on. My dogs are super at turning around at the end. When I had a big team of 10 Malamutes, getting them turned around was always very difficult. Here we are coming back on the same trail, and again, they pass the car on my command. They notice it, but they don't go over to interact with it. And now we're just kind of cruising, running along really well again. And we're going to end up, I don't want to spoil it, but we have a bigger hazard coming up. Dogs are really excited, they're moving. Usually takes them about a mile to kind of really get to pee and to poop and get all that kind of stuff out, and to really get limbered up to really run. I encourage them so they know that they're doing well. They're excited to be running, but then they're excited to know that I'm excited as well. It's a motivator. And then here we are, we're coming up with our biggest and potentially most dangerous interaction of the day. And if you look way down there, you can see them. There are a couple of hikers with 3 loose dogs. So obviously Bandit Shiva see them, they're very excited. They want to see and interact with those dogs. They're running ahead. I very calmly tell them to whoa, and they stop. It's not a big, I don't make a big deal of it. I just tell them to stop and to stand, and they do exactly that. And then the other guy is trying to command his dog, and he's obviously has to use a little bit more volume.
Great, if you can hold it, we'll be right past
it. Now their natural inclination
Yeah.
would be to run up there and meet and play with those dogs.
Thanks, sorry about that.
I'm going to tell them to run on by and to pass. And this is an enormous distraction to the dogs. But because they know my on-by command, because I do it when we're going past simple things like hikers and parked cars, they run past that perfectly. No bad interaction with the other dogs, no interference with the people's hike, other than they have to stand aside. And now the dogs are still very excited about that encounter, and they're using that excitement to kind of go into a full-blown sprint, heading on back to the car. So they'll let the dogs run for a little bit. Got a couple of last-minute things coming up. This is a really nice area. One thing I like about this particular area, this is the Harvard Forest, run by Harvard University out in Petersham, Massachusetts. I like it because hunting is not allowed, but you can bike and hike and explore and appreciate it. And here we are, we're heading back. You might remember this log from earlier on. We're coming to the bridge. So approaching the bridge this way has a real steep drop on the right-hand side right there. But the dogs, again, are just really good at kind of going by. And now we're going to come up to that gate. So that gate that we had to take a left around, now we have to take a right around. So I give them a G command. They know they would do that even if I didn't command them. But because I give the command every single time, they know what HA and G is every single time. And there we are, we're back. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope to see you sometime out on the trail. In the meantime, check out some of our other videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you have any comments or questions or suggestions, please put those in the comments section. All right, look forward to seeing you next time.